This video is sponsored by B&H, and more on them in a little bit, but thank you for sponsoring this video nonetheless. So recently I picked up an M3 Ultra Max Studio, and I made a video going over my thought process on my decision process on getting that computer. And that's me coming from an M1 Max MacBook Pro that I also have here. So what I want to do is I kind of just want to show a comparison just like in DaVinci Resolve, because that's pretty much where I spend most of my life, other than like emails and stuff, which the other computer is totally fine for. And I do want to preface this, like the M1 Max MacBook Pro is still a really great computer. It's just really starting to slow down and kind of get in the way of creativity, slowing me down to the point where it was time to upgrade. And it's, you know, I would say the computer's getting a little long in the tooth, or whatever the phrase is. So what I've got here is I've got my two monitors, and I've got my M1 Max MacBook Pro hooked up to this monitor right here, and then the monitor that you can't see on this camera, but it's on the other camera, has the Mac Studio hooked up to it. So what I want to do in this video is I have a timeline set up. It's the exact same timeline. Both the DaVinci Resolve, both computers have DaVinci Resolve Studio 20.2.2 or whatever the latest version is as of October 31st. So that's kind of what we have going on here. So the same exact timeline, same exact clips, and the grades, everything's exactly the same. I just wanted to show you kind of the performance difference with a number of different codecs that really bring, that are really stressful on the M1 Max MacBook Pro and even the Mac Studio. I mean, these are pretty heavy codecs. So I just wanted to show you the playback performance of that. And then I'll also just render out these timelines at the same time. And that will give us an idea of render speeds and all that. So we could see, how much of an improvement the M3 Ultra is over the M1 Max MacBook Pro. And I feel pretty confident saying it's an improvement because I've been using it for a couple weeks, and it's like a gajillion times more expensive and newer than the M1 Max, so it better be. So that said, let's hop over to the Mac Studio and look at this timeline. So this right here is this is from the Blackmagic Studio, or the Blackmagic Ursa Cine 17K 65, and it's an awesome camera, but this is an open gate in 17K resolution. So if I hit play, you can see the playback is playing back at 23.976, which is what it was shot in, and it is what the timeline is set to. Also, the timeline resolution, I should have mentioned, is 3840 by 1920. And then the playback here is set up to full resolution. So, not trying to hold anything back, just trying to get everything playing at native resolution, native timeline, all that kind of good stuff. And what we've got on this clip right here, this is with a grade on it, and here is the node structure. This one, we've got some light chroma noise reduction. We've got a color space transform to get it into DaVinci Wide Gamut and then back out into Rec 709. Oops. You should see that here. Then we have Dehancer, which I really like. That's for film grain, and this is one of the plugins that just absolutely tears down my M1 Max MacBook Pro. And I'm just going to call it my MacBook from now on, because that's too much to say every time. And then right here is just another little 2383 look that also has a the keyed output is taken down. So that's kind of what we have going on with this. And it's pretty similar for the rest of the clips, with the exception of one or two of these clips have something else going on. So let's go back. Like I said, it plays back just fine. We're at 23.976. No issues there. It's looking really good. Now, the next clip is also from the Ursa Cine 17K, and what I wanted to show in this one is just a little bit different of a look, a little bit cleaner of a look. So we don't have Dehancer going on, but what we do have is a deflickering. So if I turn that off and we maybe put this into full screen mode, you can see in the background don't know if this is going to show up, but there is a little bit of flickering going on from like an LED light or something like that in the restaurant. So hop back over to the edit page here. And as you can see, it's playing back at 23,976. I think this shot was actually shot in 48p, which is like one of the few times I used anything other than real time on that camera. But you can see it's playing back just fine with the deflickering on, which is another plugin that the MacBook just has a real hard time playing back. So that's really encouraging. Next up, we have a 12K clip from the Blackmagic Pixis, and this is in 24p. And again, we're getting real-time playback, no issues. It's a really cool shot, this alligator, which is super cool. And again, I give you an idea of the nodes that we have. So again, we have a little bit of chroma noise reduction playing out here. So usually what I'm doing with chroma noise reduction is 3 frames, faster, medium, and then it's all temporal noise reduction, and then chroma is up to 34%. And that's pretty much all I really ever need to do with the Blackmagic cameras. With the Red cameras, that chroma noise reduction is automatically applied, or it can in the RAW settings. So I've just kind of gotten used to throwing chroma noise reduction on, and clearly having no issues on the M3 Ultra. And then again, we got the color space transform, a little bit of exposure. We have Dehancer, and then another little a LUT here. So similar as the first clip, and it'll be the same as this clip right here, which is on the Pixis in 8K resolution as opposed to 12K resolution. You can see here down in the source resolution, down at the bottom right hand of the screen. But playing back just fine, both on the edit page and the color page. And yeah, so that's that clip. Here's 8K. 8K should be no surprise of it playing back just fine. If it's playing back 12K, it should be playing back 8K, no problem. And it certainly was having no issues playing that back. All right, so the next thing I want to show is, this is from the Cinema Camera 6K full frame, or it might have been the Pixis, I can't remember. I guess I could look at the metadata, but it's the same sensor, so for the purpose of this video, it doesn't really matter. What I want to show in this video, this clip, again, similar type of grade. I've got the color space transform and Dehancer and some noise reduction on there. But what I want to show you here is using the camera gyro stabilization, because it was a handheld shot. So you can see here, it's just like a little shaky right there. So don't need to play that back much more. But this is a 16-second clip. So if we click stabilize, see its analysis speed is at 109 frames per second. So let's remember that when we hop over to the MacBook Pro. And then again, with stabilization, it's playing back just fine. It's looking really nice. So yeah, that's that. All right, moving over to a Red Code RAW, so R3D. This is from the Red Komodo X, and we'll go ahead and play this clip back. Again, we're getting 23.976, no problems. It's looking really good. And there was like a little hiccup right at the beginning, but I don't know what that is. But it plays back just fine. And then let's see, if we were to go from the previous clip into the R3D clip, it works just fine. So maybe that, I don't know what that is. But anyways, that's that clip right here. I'll show you what we have going on with this. So we have noise reduction being applied, but we also, this is that chroma noise reduction setting I was talking about that is automatically applied for R3D. Again, we're decode quality. We're here at full res premium, which is typically what you want to do for R3D, unless you set it up, you know, in the RAW camera settings. But again, I wanted to throw some more noise reduction on here just for kicks and giggles. And We have Dehancer on here for just for some film grain, and that's typically like what I use Dehancer for the most is the film grain. And film grain, like when you turn that on, at least on the MacBook Pro, it was never happy with you. Like it would immediately slow it down, and it was one of those things where I had to create a shared node for Dehancer for the added film grain. If I were using that, that's what I had to do on the MacBook Pro on the M1 Max, and keep it as a shared node and just disable it until it was time to render it out, and then I would enable it, so it would enable it for all clips. So that's that. Next up, we have Canon RAW. So this is 8K RAW from the R5 Mark II, and no computers really like that footage at all. So anyways, this is 60p, and you can see it like stuttered there for a second, and this is slowed down. This is conformed to 24p, so that's why it looks like slow motion. And it's actually playing it back really, really well. A lot better than I was expecting it to. It still stutters there in the beginning, which I don't know what that is, but then it plays it back just fine. Let's go over to... I'm like doing this on the fly. I didn't really like test this out. I just made the grades and then started hitting record. Yeah, and again, it still just kind of hiccups when it goes into this Canon RAW file. Again, no computers really like the Canon RAW files for whatever reason. And then this is Dehancer, and I don't think there's noise reduction, but I think this was a bloom effect, just to give a little bit of bloom on the highlights here, and then that's when like it really starts to struggle, and you can see it getting at like 20 frames per second, so not getting full playback here. This is at full res Canon, and I feel like one time I was playing around with it and I got better results with full res resolve. Yeah, so if I'm using full res resolve, it's getting almost native playback. But if I change the decode quality to full res Canon, then it stutters. So I need to do more testing on that to see which one is actually better for the decoding, the quality. My guess is Canon is going to be better, but I honestly don't know. I haven't done a side-by-side test, and at this point I probably should have. I've always just left it as resolved. But anyways, that's an interesting little tidbit there. Okay, next up we have actually DNG, which is super random, but it was just another codec that I had available. I have some other ones on it, but like this is another one of those codecs that is just not happy with in any computer. So this is from the Inspire 2, I believe, and it is, let's see, it's 6K resolution. So if we play that back, it actually stutters up, and it looks like it was 5 frames per second, but it was playing back pretty smoothly. So not getting full playback. See what the nodes that we have on here. So we have Dehancer with a little exposure adjustment, it looks like, and then noise reduction. So I wonder if we turn the noise reduction off, and then we get full playback, full speed playback. So the noise reduction definitely still is not, I mean, Cinema DNG is just not a great codec to work with, especially when you have like Blackmagic RAW and R3D. But that should kind of give you an idea, and especially just being able to play back. I mean, if you turn the noise reduction off and you can play back this 6K DNG file with Dehancer on at 24 frames per second, or whatever your project is at, is pretty remarkable. I don't know that I've ever remember being able to do that on the M1 Max MacBook Pro. So that said, speaking of the M1 Max MacBook Pro, let's go ahead and switch over to the M1 Max MacBook Pro and start doing the same tests as we had here, and then we'll do a little render test at the end. So like I said, same timeline, same color grades, all that kind of stuff. let's get rid of this. There we go. So you can see we've got the color space transform, we've got the noise reduction node, all that kind of good stuff. So same. The only difference is a different computer. So let's go ahead and try to play back. This is the Ursa Cine 17K. And we are getting about 19.7 frames per second playback, which is still pretty remarkable on this old of a computer in 17K resolution. That's pretty wild, but definitely not native playback like I was getting on the M3 Ultra. All right, next clip. This is the one with the deflicker on. So let's try to play that back. And again, we're getting about 19.3 frames per second. So it's actually not terrible, but you can see the playback is really, really choppy. Here's that 12K clip, playing back at about 18.3 frames per second. And really what's causing this to hiccup is Dehancer. And a Dehancer is still just a pretty rough on this M1 Max, which is something I use quite a bit. So that's definitely really helpful for the M3 Ultra. This is the 8K clip from the Pixis 12K. And as you can see, again, 18.1 frames per second, and it's still just stuttering, and we've already gone into the next clip and didn't even show us. So that's that. All right, this is that 16-second clip. I don't know if there was stabilization on it. Interesting. Oh, so let's do the camera gyro and see how long that was and what it analyzes it at. So this is at 60 frames per second. So what was the other one? 110 frames per second. So, but playing it back, again, we're consistently getting about 18, 19 frames per second. And it's interesting that the resolution isn't really playing that big of a factor in the playback, which is really interesting, but it certainly will in the render tests. Because I remember rendering out some 17K footage and it not being happy at all. Okay, so now we got the R3D file from the Red Komodo X. Let's play that back. And it was starting at 13.5, and now it's really just not even able to play this back with this grade. And again, this grade on here, we have the noise reduction and full res premium. Everything's exactly the same. Dehancer, and yeah, it's just not having it. All right, next up, the 8K RAW from the R5 II. This should be pretty. Let's make sure that the Dehancer node is off. Yep. And we are getting 10.4 frames per second, and then it just froze, and it's probably gonna just randomly skip ahead. So basically not getting any playback on that, which is not surprising. Yeah, and I press pause and it's all the way at the end. So not surprising there on the R5 II. That 8K RAW is nobody's friend when it comes to computers. All right, and then we have this DNG clip. This is from the Inspire 2, 6K Cinema DNG, and we are getting 7.7 frames per second. So, and for all intents and purposes, not even getting native playback. Let's turn off the Dehancer and see what kind of playback we get when it comes to that. So, still really not that great. And then what if we turn the noise reduction off? And then we're getting native playback. So that's actually pretty good. So that is the playback. So let's go ahead and I want to set up the render test real quick. All right, I have one mouse between these two computers, so to switch. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to start the MacBook Pro first, and then quickly switch over to the Mac Studio. So let's render that. and render that. Okay, so while that is rendering, I think it's a good time to mention the sponsor of today's video, and of course that is B&H. They've been a huge supporter of this channel, and I've been a huge supporter of B&H over the years, and I've sent quite a bit of money their way for a good reason. They have everything you need from like except for groceries. And all kidding aside though, I do all of my shopping through B&H for all of my production needs, and all the footage that you've seen here are from cameras that B&H sells. And the cool thing is they have this Paybu credit card. I'm not telling you to go extend your credit or anything like that, but if like you need a credit card or you're looking to get one for whatever reason, and you do a lot of shopping for a production company, that's a good card to maybe look at if you're looking to buy gear, because you can save on taxes. So if you're ordering like the Mac Studio, depending on what state you're in, or you're ordering the Ursa Cine 17K 65, like that, those tax dollars add up quite a bit. And what the Paybu card does is it basically pays you back those taxes. So you essentially save on the taxes that you would get charged, which I think is a really cool perk of the Paybu card. And then the other way to save money is going through their used department. I don't think a lot of people realize that they have a pretty huge used department, and I've purchased quite a bit from the used department, especially lenses. Like I don't know that I've purchased a new lens. I don't know the last time I purchased a new lens. I've always just gone to the B&H used department and purchased a used lens, because usually it'll show you like what the quality or rating is, and you can usually find one that's in like very good or excellent condition. So big thanks to B&H for sponsoring this video. I will leave B&H affiliate links down in the description below. Affiliate links just means I get a small commission off of any purchase from that click, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. So that's just a little way of keeping this channel chugging right along. So back to this render test. Forgot these are rendering 17K and 12K files, so this is still going to take quite a bit of time to render out, but we'll keep it going. And we just got through the 17K footage, and right now the M3 Ultra is in it's chugging right along once it's gotten out of the 17K. And I mentioned that was going to be the case with render speeds and playback. Like the playback was, obviously not real time on the MacBook Pro. It was on the M3 Ultra, but I knew that the M3 Ultra's render speeds were going to be significantly faster, and that's huge. So we're here on the M3 Ultra. We are just about done here we're at 95%. So that took a whopping 9 minutes and 34 seconds to render out. And the M1 Max MacBook Pro is still not even through the second clip where that deflickering was on. And it's showing it's rendering at 0 frames per second right now. So I have faith, but I'm not going to have us wait until the very end. So I'll just leave a chart that shows how long this actually took to render. So hopefully that just shows you how much of a difference there is between the M3 Ultra and the M1 Max. Again, this is just DaVinci Resolve, but I actually got quite a bit of feedback from comments and Instagram messages and stuff asking me to make a video like this. So hopefully this is what you were hoping for, and hopefully this was helpful to you. This is definitely something that would be helpful to me, if I were looking for a computer. Now, of course, I didn't do like H.265 codecs or ProRes or anything like that, but I mean, gosh, the M1 Max MacBook Pro is still perfectly fine for that stuff, but I wanted to show like much heavier codecs and high resolutions and all that kind of good stuff. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful or useful. I doubt it was entertaining, but that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.